going live in 3, 2, 1. Beep. We're live. Hey everybody, it's Peter. It's Sunday night, which means Westworld, Season 2, Episode 7. Don't ask me how to say the French word. Dang it. Can't remember. Les Écorchés, which basically refers to old style of drawing, where probably goes back to the Renaissance or so. I will leave a link below to a wiki article. And might have seen it with Leonardo or other Da Vinci, those kind of people, where you draw an image of a person, but there's no skin. So it's almost like a medical kind of diagram kind of idea. So instead of sketching the body, you're sketching the body without the skin. It's roughly translated, the word means flayed. Like when you flay something, i.e. skin something or fillet it, that kind of idea. So I guess the idea of the title is, you know, we're seeing under the surface of whatever it is. So in this case, we're seeing under the surface of Delos. We're seeing under the surface of what actually happens in the cradle. We actually see what happens under the surface of our characters. Dolores, Bernard, even under the surface of our human characters. I'm not going to spoil this too much. This is a definite watch. This was one of the better episodes too. We're only got 3 more episodes left, but what I liked about this episode was, even though we got Robo Teddy, that kind of thing, but you know, Dolores is more chill, even though she's on a mission to go find her father. Before we get too deep in it, don't forget, if you are new here, hit subscribe, hit notifications. I do post on a weekly basis, and let's just get into it. So there seems to be, we're dealing with maybe 2 storylines max. It feels like more, but because of the way the timeline is going with Bernard. And actually, I finally realized when we got to the end of the episode, the timeline sort of came back around on itself. So we're starting off with Bernard, Hale, Carl Strand, the new security guard. We've got Stubbs, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So this is still probably happening around the time of, again, you know, if you saw the beginning of episode 1 where they're rescued off the beach. So we're in sort of the end of the timeline as we see it. I'm not sure it'd be before or after we're seeing the lake being drained. But we do have, and I forgot to mention this last episode, we do have the Uber SEAL team that came in with the old early guy with the mustache, never caught his name. But he had like a thick Irish accent, and he was like, okay, we're going to be taking some people, are going to be shooting up the place, and we're going to hack the computer, and don't you stop me. I don't know if he was Scottish or Irish, but he, you know, he's just some Angrish. He was some Angrish. Yes, he was Angrish. Yeah, so it's his team. They're still trying to take over. Actually, this episode 2, most of the story is everybody's heading for the Messa. The Messa is our control headquarters. And we've got the different levels. Bernard is still, and part of the story too, when we got the one story where Bernard is with Stubbs and the gang, they're trying to figure out what's going on and what's happening with Abernathy, that kind of thing. Later on, we do switch still back to Bernard, and I said Elsa, but it's LC. And he's inside of, and that's another big part of the story too. He's inside the cradle. We find out that, you know, oh, hello, my friends. Actually, Anthony Hopkins is back as Robert Ford. That was funny the other day too. Toronto did have a mayor called Rob Ford. No relation, thankfully. A slight side note, we are having our provincial election, and his brother is running for the Conservatives. AKA the Americans, I guess, would call it the Republicans. And I really hope he doesn't get in, but that's for another story. I may do a political rant on that, even though I don't do political rants. Anyway, I digress. But we finally get to see Ford in the cradle. And there's going to be probably a whole bunch of stuff on the forums about, oh, is he like Delos? Is you know, is Ford going to be jacked into a body, that kind of thing. And some of the story, you may want to look this up. There was an old 70s movie, which was the follow-up to the original, I think it was the 72, 73 movie, Westworld, with Yul Brynner and Richard Benjamin. There was a follow-on with Blythe Danner and Peter Fonda called Future World. Part of that storyline was about capturing world leaders and, you know, stuffing them in, you know, taking them over and putting out, you know, replicant hosts to take over the world, kind of idea. This is sort of like that, but not really, because it sounds more like Ford had his own plan with Arnold about how to run the park and this, and Delos had their plan about, oh, we're going to be, you know, when you saw the previous episode with James Delos, you know, and he was put into a host body, but it kept failing the whole time. And the Man in Black and young William were trying to figure something out with the company to see, you know, can we sell immortality? And we saw it's a complete failure. What it looks more like is that the cradle is not just a database, it's actually an environment that the hosts get to live out their time. So while things are happening, you know, via the host, their consciousness actually can act out things in the cradle as well. Again, it's very not obscure, but again, like everybody's saying, this season is very very thought-provoking, borderline confusing, because I don't know if the idea was that Ford just wanted the host to have a happy place to work, you know, live their lives out in, despite, you know, being, you know, abused and tortured by humans. Meanwhile, humans are trying to want to be like hosts. They want to live forever. They want to be put inside of bodies and don't age and that kind of thing. So that's, and again, you got the underlying thing happening there too about, okay, about consciousness, because we do get into not heavy duty, you know, not Freudian, Jungian kind of thing about the id and whatever, but we are getting into, like, you know, consciousness and emotions and what makes a person a person, what makes a host, because there is a lot of emotional moments, like when Dolores finally finds her father and tries to, you know, saves him. And what can we do? We do find, like, don't mess with any of the hosts at all. Especially Maeve. We've seen don't mess with Maeve, don't mess with Robo Teddy, and obviously don't mess with Dolores and some of the other hosts, because if it's not karma will get you, they will get you back. So there's a lot of that going on. But yeah, everything is basically like, let's get to the thing, save the day. Dolores still has her plan. I don't want to tell her what her plan is. She is looking for something. Once she finds her father, she has a plan on trying to save him. And she almost takes out her anger on Hale. Little spoiler there. But yeah, but a lot of people are saying, like, nobody likes Hale because Hale's been like such a bitch, because again, she's a corporate person. She's doing things for what Delos wants to do. And it's just like, yeah, that's not how you do things or whatever. And it's like, they don't care about anything. They just want their precious information, the encryption key that's locked inside of Abernathy's system. That's, you know, making it more real kind of thing. Excuse me. And we get to see again other sides of the characters. Ford has more plans going on. Oh, there's an interesting thing too, but that was in the trailer. If you've seen the trailer, there was a scene where we've got Hale, Carl, Stubbs, and you know, a hit team, and they find these, you know, standing up body bags kind of things. And I half thought, maybe some other people thought too, maybe, oh, these are like, you know, the hosts that are going to be taken over and, you know, substituted in the real world. It's not. It's actually, I'll give you a slight little thing. It's just basically a lot of things of Bernard, and it ties back into the one scene we saw where Dolores was saying, like, you know, freeze motor function and, you know, analyze yourself, and we think it's Arnold, and it's not. It's actually Bernard. And what it was is they were trying to train Bernard better by using Dolores, because Dolores really knew Arnold. And I think the whole thing is too, for some reason they were trying to trick Dolores thinking that Bernard is not Arnold for whatever Ford's plan is down the road. So that was kind of interesting too. But yeah, definitely go watch this one. This is actually getting a little bit better, more focused on the things. There are a lot of ups and downs, things I didn't expect certain characters happening. There was a theory that the Man in Black might be a host. I don't really know. There was this shootout scene partway through, and it's like he took a lot of bullets. So some people, are commenting right now, like, okay, Man in Black took a lot of bullets. Is he a host? But I even knew a thing about it too. When you shoot the host, if you shoot him in the right place too, the host will drop. So, but some people too, it's just like he's resilient. Or I joked actually online, like, well, he drinks a lot of booze. Maybe he's just fermented really well from all that single malt he drinks. And that's why he can take a hit really good. And it takes up quite a bit to knock down the Man in Black. We'll find out later on, obviously, because he was left to his own device again too, so we weren't touching more. It was mostly the Bernard show this time, a little bit of the Dolores show, and the other thing that was kind of scary too, don't give the hosts automatic weapons, because they will kick ass and take lots of names. But yeah, again, a lot of carnage, a lot of stuff going on. But again, yeah, it is kind of hard to follow. Somebody else I saw in the comments too of one of the threads I follow was also saying too, they ought to do straight timelines, not these convoluted, okay, which way are we going? But like I said, this episode, it sort of felt like it came back around. We started with Bernard here, and then we sort of skipped over to sort of another part within the same, maybe a day or so of the timeline, and we come back around and we're back to where we started at the beginning of the episode. So we're sort of keeping, I'm still not sure. I'm assuming the Man in Black timeline is still happening at the same time we're seeing all other parts of the story. He's just another part of the park. But like I said, what gets weird is when you see Bernard with Elsie. But there was a scene where Bernard is with Elsie, and the shooting is going on, and they're taking over. The hosts are taking over the Mesa with Dolores. So is it like just we're here, but we're there? It's sort of that's where the confusion gets. Like, what part of time are we in? Okay, like he came in with her, but then he's back with Hale. He was with Hale. Then, that's where the confusion kind of is. So, but like I said, overall, not a bad episode. I think it was pretty good. 3 more to go to see how the rest of the series goes. Again, as I've been saying throughout the series, not as exciting and not pulling it. But some people are like, oh, it's because of this, because of that. No, I just find, and I can't put into words, but there's some shows I watch, like I go on about Person of Interest. That was, again, this is, from the Nolans. That was really good, but season 4, season 5 is no good. I keep saying that all the time. There are some things like, or like with the new movies coming out, I really like Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2, not as much. Actually, I saw again the other day, because a friend didn't go see it. I went to go see Avengers 3, if you want to call it that, the Infinity Wars. This was my 5th viewing, but because there was a gap between the last time I saw it and this time, it still felt fresh, and it was enjoyable a 5th time. The previous 2 times were kind of like, yeah, I've seen it already, and I was kind of dozing off. And it is a longer movie too, so. But there's some things I can watch and it really draws me in, and other people will watch, but again, too, it's a matter of taste and interest, right? That's what makes the world go around. But yeah, I don't know if I would buy the DVD set for this as well, either get the Blu-ray or not. But I did like watching season 1 all over again, because that was kind of an interesting story, and just how the things were, even though there's confusing timelines and characters, that kind of thing. So, oh, look at this. Somebody came in. And hello, Mia. Mia Lovely just dropped by, left a note. So the word is getting out there. I just wrote her back. She said, we need more Robert Ford in this episode. And it's true, we do, but you have to talk to the Nolans about that because they're the ones writing the stories. That kind of thing. Are we getting any back and forth going on or what? And that's it. She just dropped by. What's happening? Oh, and somebody else came in. Lean Warrior Lifeside. Epic episode. Well, we see how it goes. I guess people are just jumping in, chiming in, and running away. Cool. Why don't I just do it this way? So how are you finding the series? Yeah. You liking it at all, or what's up? I don't know when you jumped in, but like I said, I preferred season 1 over season 2. This takes quite a bit to get a liking to, and I am finding it is a little more confusing than season 1. And it looks like Lean Warrior Lifestyle. Epic episode. But yeah, that's about it. Might not stay on too much longer because I just like posting these and getting them out because I can. I like season 1 too. Yes. I felt season 1, I just kind of liked again, it's hard to put in the words. I just like how it was written. It was interesting stories. I still like, when Dolores says, I'm not going to be the damsel anymore. Didn't like Logan, but that was Logan's character. He was built to be the ass. Man in Black, he was there to be mean. The only difference I found, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that too. I'll mention this. I commented when somebody was posting, Thaddy was at a Graham Norton show talking about last season about being naked half the time or most of the time. And the one thing I noticed was this season it was the reverse, and it reminded me of the old story of. It was more cohesive. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was more understandable, I think, in some ways. It didn't seem to go all over the place and multiple timelines. But again, about the violence and the nudity, what I find is this was the reverse. I mean, there was violence in season 1. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not squeamish about violence, but violence for violence sakes or violent delights, no. But I noticed like the amount of nudity was like ridiculous in season 1. Like, okay, yeah, they're hosts, we don't care, and it's again about layers, and we don't care about them, that kind of thing. But it reminded me of an old story of James Bond's Goldfinger when they showed it to the British producers or the British market. They said, okay, we don't mind there's a naked girl covered in paint on the bed, but can you please cover her butt with a bed sheet or something? And oh, sorry, no, that was the Americans. The Americans were saying, we don't want excessive nudity in Goldfinger, but crank up the violence, and the Brits were the other way around. Yeah, can you please, do you mind toning down the violence a bit, please? We're kind of squeamish about that, but yeah, naked girls covered in gold paint, go for it. We don't really care. I think that season 2 would be perfect for Netflix binge, yeah. But I'm not big on the binges. I like watching things one at a time. It's like, to me, it's like overeating. Like, I'm going to eat all this food, and then you're going to be like, oh my God. I find if you binge watch too much, your brain's going to take in so much information. Your brain's just going, oh, my head hurts. I watch so much TV. Totally agree. After this season, it's over binge watching Wheelbarrow. I think that's a millennial thing. I've never been into. I think the closest I came to binge watching is when Heroes first came out, season 1. Totally didn't see it. And then I later on bought the DVD set, and that was like the way it was written. It was just like you finish the one episode, and it's like they left you hanging. Like, oh, I gotta watch another. Can I still stay up late and watch the next show? Yeah, that was kind of cool. And then I'd watch the next one. It's okay. I gotta watch tomorrow. I never but binge watching wasn't a thing, you know, like 10 years ago. So everything, since we got Netflix and all this other stuff, everybody's just like, oh, just give me. But yeah, I like to savor, even when I eat, I like to savor something. I find if you pile on the stuff too much, or if you binge watch like something, you got like, say, 10 episodes, you watch it all at once. Well, what else are you going to watch after that? You've just watched the whole thing. Watch it, stretch it out a bit, enjoy it, savor it. Just like that line, I can't remember that line that Ford said to Bernard in The Cradle about, you know, the enjoyment in the story is getting to the end of it, not like we have to get there right away. I also agree after this season, binge watching. Okay. Season 1 was beautifully crafted, the dialogue, the building of the foundations. It took its time. Yes, it did. Yeah, it's almost like, well, I think with season 2, what they're doing is it's totally established. So we've got our world already. We've got Westworld, and we hinted at Shogun World. So now we saw a little bit more Shogun World. And they are talking about, you know, more seasons coming down the road. So maybe they will expand it like the first original movie, where we saw like Westworld, Medieval World, and Roman World. So maybe that will be it. And also, yes, and now we have the Raj World. So we've got at least 3 worlds established. So we may get those other 2 worlds, or maybe they'll not follow, what was his name? Michael Crichton's book. And maybe they'll make up, you know, 2 other different worlds, that kind of thing. So, yeah. What I found was in the beginning of this season was just like way too much violence, and just like I like the Dolores character. I like Evan and Rachel Wood, but I just thought it was just like she was just running across, you know, the park and just shooting everything that moved. Oh, you're a human, bang, 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 and everybody's dead and everybody's hung. There's no story to that. What is that? You're just on a rampage. Now she seems that you see more of a purpose. She's more chill. Now she's got Robo Teddy to do all the killing, that kind of thing. So yeah, yeah. Thanks to Mia and Lean Warrior Lifestyle for dropping by. If you guys got anything else to say, say it now or forever hold your peace. I may cut this off and get it out there. I still have few other things to do tonight. So any final thoughts before I sign off, guys? I'll give it about another minute, see if you guys got anything else to say. I have an unpopular opinion on Shogun World. The whole Maeve storyline is a bit pointless to me. Well, I think the Maeve storyline was to sort of illustrate she's looking, because her main focus is finding her daughter. That's why she got off the train in season 1. So I guess they figured, well, to get to where she was in that other farmland, they had to cut through Shogun World. And because they hinted at Shogun World in the end of season 1, we have to show it now. And I kind of like Shogun World because I like Japanese stuff. If you see back there, there's some of my Japanese stuff back there. I got a couple of things, and over, can I do this without screwing up my camera? I got some stuff up in the top there too, but yeah, I like things Japanese. It's kind of cool, and it was different too. I didn't want to see cowboys and Indians all the time. Lean Warrior says, I heard you mention Person of Interest. That was one of my favorite. Yes, it is. Actually, I didn't see it in the beginning because when I first saw it on TV, I thought, oh, it's some weird kidnapping thing, or I didn't know what the storyline was. I just did. But then on our local space channel was doing the reruns when I was off. I'm still off on hiatus from work. But yeah, when I caught some of the reruns, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool show, and it was something different. And then later on, I was surprised it was from CBS because they're making Star Trek Discovery. But yeah, I love the first 3 seasons of. And I just like how that all is. And what I loved about Person of Interest is I imagine there's this massive whiteboard when they were doing all this, because the continuity was beautiful for the first 3 seasons. I like Maeve at the start of the season. I felt too she was more relatable, more human than in season 2. Dolores, I feel that her ties to her daughter is slowing her down. Yeah, I guess. Well, in this episode 2, Dolores does say Maeve that Maeve looking for her daughter as actually something that the humans are sort of keeping her at bay. It's just, I think she says, like, it's just another rope to tie you down with, kind of thing, having an anchor as a daughter. You don't really have, I mean, she does have a physical host daughter, but I guess it's sort of like something else to look for. So, yeah. So Mia, you agree that about the May storyline, or you agree that Person of Interest is a really cool series, except for season 4 and 5, but especially season 5, because when I just talked about the continuity, even though I own a copy of season 5, I didn't like is that they redid the entire Finch creating the machine storyline. They redid it for season 5. I think what happened was because they started season 5 later and they wanted to finish off the series. And I guess it was for latecomers that hadn't seen the previous stuff, and we're just going to throw something together, do 13 episodes, get it out, and we're done with the series. Both, of course. Actually, what's interesting too, we kind of left everybody hanging right now too, because Maeve's all shot. This was going to be spoiler free, but I guess we're going to talk a little bit about that. Referring to Maeve's turn. Yeah, okay. Now let's just go back here a bit. I think with the Maeve storyline too, and Shogun, really, like I said before too, I think they're trying to just establish, like, even though they're hosts, they have family ties. They can feel that sort of thing. They're not just here for the whims of the human guests, that kind of thing. Because there's so many points. I think what happens with season 2 is they want to touch on so many points of the human condition, family, and then we're going through the, almost like the 7 sins. You have the corruption, you have fear, you have greed, you have gluttony, all the different things that people can explore. And I guess they're sort of like putting a mirror towards the guests and the humans. Okay, well, this is what you guys been doing here. And yeah, that was part of the storyline too, with the Cradle is also gathering data on people, sort of thing. Again, to, I guess, sort of show them who they really are. Not sure where they were going with that. I think I can only pay. I think it can only pay off if it makes a significant impact on the final episodes, as Ghost Nation have her daughter and probably going to the Valley Beyond. Yeah, it'll be interesting what the Valley Beyond entails. Is the Valley Beyond that massive lake swimming hole that we saw that all the bodies were in? Is that going to be like the final conclusion? And what does that mean for our heroes and all the characters in the story? Like, and is there something at the end of this rainbow that the host will find? Again, we got 3 episodes to get through to see what's going to happen. So she will have to make a decision to let go of her ties and take over. Yeah, well, the way I think they left it, that Dolores was going to shoot Maeve. Spoilers. Anybody else who's jumping in later. But she didn't. So she just, Dolores left Maeve with the choice of, that's your choice. If you're going to go after your daughter, that's up to you. But I have thought actually that maybe Dolores is going to bring Maeve along, but they still don't see eye to eye on the final goal. So I still think it'll be separate storylines. Dolores is going to head to the valley with her gang. Maeve, maybe Sizemore will show up, and since he was hiding in the corner, maybe he'll come back and maybe find somebody to help repair Maeve, and they may go after her daughter. They may go after Ghost Nation. We can't really say. I don't know where it's going right now. So think I would love to see Maeve and Dolores work together. Well, they would be, yeah. Especially you got Maeve and her Jedi mind tricks, and you got Dolores, who can ride a horse and shoot and whatever else. And she basically, actually, they sort of control in their own way. Like Dolores sort of uses her leadership to sort of control everybody. Of course, she did cheat with the technician to reprogram Teddy to become Robo Teddy, the Terminator. He's back now. He looked kind of badass too with the body armor on and stuff. But yeah, I guess I don't know if they will. I don't know if there will be a common goal for all the hosts, or it's still going to be. Or actually, remember in season 1 too with Maeve, she was actually programmed to do what she's doing. So I don't know if she's totally broken away from program, or is still part of a elaborate storyline that was written for her that's continuing from season 1. There's a thought right there. But yeah, I thought they were going to put those two together tonight, and looks like they're not, and they're still going to be on separate paths. So it might be the occasional we'll meet, and then we'll go on our separate paths. We'll meet again. We'll go on separate paths. We will see. Because what's the next episode? The next episode is called Come on. Work for me, you silly internet. Kiksuya. And then we got Vanishing Point and then the Passenger. So Kiksuya could be again going back to Shogun World. Maybe we're going to stop by there again. Vanishing Point, no idea unless you're talking about 1976 racing car movie. And the Passenger, well, what is the Passengers? The passengers are the host going to be on a passengers into the real world, or is there something else going to be a passenger into the real world? We do not know. Yeah. Lean Warrior, I think they are hinting at this. As I feel, that means that Dolores. Let her go, her father is awarded. Yeah. Yeah, well, like I just said, Maeve has her own. Maeve has only really been like finding her daughter. That's been her main focus. She doesn't have like a plan to get back at him. I mean, she's been, beat up, shot enough times too. I could see Maeve again become a Dolores Wyatt and go after everybody, but I guess she has a different focus. And again, like I said, in season 1, there was the programming that they found about her. Yeah, Dolores is free. So we'll see what happens. And she has been out in the real world. So, because I know there's, I don't know if this is conjecture or not. If the host does leave the park, are they going to heads explode or something like that because they're outside of the range of the property or something? But if we're on an island, we don't know. I mean, there is the train to get off and on, but we don't know where the train goes to. And I mean, it has been hinted that we could be on an island somewhere off Japan, China, because I suppose it was Chinese soldiers at the beginning of season 1 that Carl was talking to. So, yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. Anyway, it's getting up there, guys. So, thanks to Mia and Lean Warrior for stopping by. I will be setting this up and putting it out there. One more thing. I think that the reason why I love this episode was mostly because of Ford. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see what his plans were and like what's this all about, and what's the cradle all about. What's the actual? We get more clarity on what's actually happening with Westworld. So he sort of says, this is what the hosts were all about. It wasn't about this, and he knew about James Dellis' plan about immortality and maybe putting humans into hosts, that kind of thing. So yeah, there was some people may think, oh, Ford knows quite a bit where he's going. He's a pretty smart character, and he has certain gravitas. brings to the show. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's also Anthony Hopkins. Yes, Sir Anthony Hopkins. I mean, he makes every movie good. Anyway, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by, Mia. I am going to stop now. And anybody else who watches this later, don't forget, hit subscribe, hit notifications. I do post on a weekly basis, and we'll see you in the next episode, unless I post something else. There is, I'm debating on Tank Fest this year out in Oshawa, out by my area, but they're charging a lot more money to go see it. But I've got my new phone charger, so I wanted to maybe take along and do some shots like I did last year. But we'll see what's going on. As he is. Yeah, but see, they got him back. See, they held on to him. Yeah, you know, it's a bit of a little hint on him, and then you drop him in when you really need him to, you know, push the story further, that kind of thing. Anyway, thanks you two for stopping by, and everybody else that stopped by and saw this later on. We'll see you in the next one.